Welcome back, investors, to another video. It's been a rough day for Lucid, down 18% on the day. If we're going to refresh this chart, down just 0.2% after hours. Over the past 5 days, it's down 25%. So it's not been a good week for Lucid. However, over the past month, only down 10%. Over the past 6 months, it's up by 43%. What caused this meteoric rise in the first place was because they won a Car of the Year award. And they actually announced that, yes, they have, I think, 100 more miles in addition to Tesla's long-range Model S. So they take the cake by far when it comes to range for electric vehicles. And Lucid Group, if you don't know, is a luxury EV maker. They're working also, they have a sedan, they're working on an SUV. But right now, it's kind of just a startup. They merged with a SPAC called Churchill Capital Corporation in a reverse merger. It was basically a blank shell company. CCIV was a ticker. I traded it. Just for full transparency, this was my portfolio. I've shown this before, but basically, I don't own any shares. Just a disclaimer. I gained $1,000 US. Again, my portfolio is not huge, but the first one cost average was 18 bucks, sold at 56. Second one, cost average was 22, and I sold at 26. So could have waited to sell at a better price, but still gained quite a bit of money there. So I'm pretty happy with my position and kind of going in and out of Lucid. What we're going to talk today is this price, whether you should buy it at $36 per share or whether you should wait, and kind of what I'm doing in regards to Lucid stock. So stay tuned. So again, welcome back to another video. My name's Adam. If you enjoy this video, please be sure to like, subscribe, and if you're interested in more content, feel free to check out my Discord. That's totally free down below. And if you'd like to support me, consider donating to Patreon, and you'll get my real-time buys and sells and make some money on the side. So yeah, if you're looking at the max chart, Lucid is up by 269% all time. So again, this was a $10 stock. This is what SPACs generally tend to trade at, before shooting up by 400%, kind of coming back down to earth. It was at $17 at one point, kind of hovering around that mark, before shooting back up by 130%, reaching 55 bucks. And then now it's down, going back down to earth. It's already down by 33%. So a lot of people might say that this is a pretty good deal. However, I'm somewhat skeptical, just because this meteoric rise was too fast, too soon. Sure, they delivered their first vehicles, so they're finally starting to earn revenue, but they still have a long way to go when it comes to profitability, and especially scaling at production. If we've learned anything from Tesla, is that it takes a really, really long time to scale production to the point where you're just an absolute machine and you're just churning out the vehicles. And if you look at Tesla's stock chart, for the longest time, it was at the $40, $30 range. You could even get Tesla shares in 2017 for like 20 bucks. So what I'd say is this is a $60 billion company, and sure, we're in a different environment right now where a lot of retail investors are bidding up the price of Lucid. And I mean, I think it's too much, too fast, too soon. They also announced convertible senior debt offering, which is convertible for shares. And that debt is due, the full repayment is due 2026. But along the way, they could convert, the company that's basically loaning out the shares could convert, or the debt could convert some of that debt into stock if they prefer. So it's in the best interest of the company that's getting the loan to Lucid if they're able to convert the shares at $20 instead of like $30, right? Because that means they get more shares, and if they're looking to hold Lucid in the long term, that just means that they get a better price and better ROI, right? So yeah, that's what mainly caused the one-day drop 20%. I mean, I think it's a little bit overdone, but it's especially because if you're looking at the inflation data, and interest rates are supposed to rise soon. So that's just going to mean that fast-growing companies, their valuation kind of takes a notch down. And I mean, so due to inflation fears, as well as interest rates increasing and sort of like a worry of like a taper tantrum where the Fed starts to reduce bond purchases, this is, I think, all contributing to Lucid's downfall today, and the fact that other SPACs are not doing well. So that, again, Lucid was a SPAC before it reverse merged. So right now it's still a $60 billion company. So very, very huge for just starting to deliver on their cars. But what we have to understand is like Lucid is like a tech on wheels. It arguably rivals Tesla's tech. It has longer range. Peter Rawlinson actually used to be in Tesla, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, this $60 billion is, already makes it one of the largest automakers out there, even though they just started deliveries. But again, what you have to understand is that the self-driving tech, as well as the long range, the battery proprietary tech that they have, is best class, right? So that's why it has such a sky-high valuation. I think, again, like you could get it Lucid at a cheaper price. I said this before in my previous video that I just made when Lucid also dropped by quite a bit. I think anything under $30 is a pretty good deal for Lucid. I might slowly accumulate shares once it goes below $30. But even then, maybe it's if we're looking at under $20, I really, really like it. I don't know if Lucid will get there. Oftentimes I get too greedy. I try to get it at a lower price, and it comes to bite me in the ass. But I mean, I think $20 to $30 range, you should be just getting the shares. Right now, I don't know if it's such a great deal, but again, you could also argue that it is a great deal at $36 a share. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. In terms of growth, obviously right now they just started delivering vehicles. So for the current year, the average estimate is like 88 million in revenue. 2022, 2.1 billion in revenue. So you know that they have a 60 billion market cap. So this means they have a 30 forward price to sales ratio, which is just ridiculous according to my mind. But if you're looking at the long-term estimates of Lucid, they're obviously hoping to grow their revenue by like maybe 100% in 2023, maybe to 4 billion. I mean, we'll see how feasible that is. But even this is, looks like it's growth of 2,200%. But again, you have to keep in mind that they're just starting to try to scale production. So, and there's only 2 analysts covering the stock, but it is in high growth mode. Actually, the current target right now is $38, so sitting relatively close to that mark at $36.52. So let's just see what happens in the next coming days. And one thing you may want to think about is that there's this thing called tax loss harvesting. So if a lot of people bought it at $50, they're like, oh, like this thing's going to $100. What you could say is, okay, I'm going to sell my shares at like $40, take that $10 per share loss, and write it off against my taxes. And so generally December is the worst month to do that. And if we're just looking at the technicals here, we see that it's sort of just at the lower Bollinger Band. Again, I wouldn't advise buying when the candle goes below the lower Bollinger Band. I mean, the price is fully outside of the Bollinger Band right here at $36. And the gap's sort of widened right here. If we're looking, let's see, the 6-month chart. So if looking at the 6-month chart, it kind of rode all the way up here. So it rode this upper Bollinger Band before kind of, there was some selling pressure. It was kind of going sideways for a while and then tanked for a couple of days in a row. So what I would do is not catch a falling rock, not buy right here. I would potentially wait until there's the downtrend eases, because right now you can see a clear downtrend right here, and it might kind of continue downtrending, even maybe I would say the resistance a support level would be around like $25. That seems to be a pretty good support level. So you can maybe wait until under $30, around $25 range, before accumulating shares, and wait for this chart to sort of go sideways, because that could mean that the selling pressure is easing. So if you're looking at the technicals, that could be a good move to get in for a swing play, or even just to start a pretty good position at a pretty cheap price. So now let's talk about their debt offering. So Lucid Group was down it finished 18% down. They announced its intent to offer $1.75 billion of convertible senior note offering in a private placement. So if you go on their investor relations page, you can click right here. This is where I find this information. And basically, 1.75 billion aggregate principal amount, due 2026. Lucid also expects to grant the initial purchases of the note an option for settlement within 13 days, up to an additional 262 million in terms of principal amount of notes. Okay. So let's go here. And so basically you can convert these notes to actual stock. And so that means that it would dilute shareholder value. And that's partly why the stock is down. Although I do think inflation fears, as well as interest rates rise, as well as the general SPACs being beaten down, also are taking into account this fall. So let's see. Lucid will settle the conversion of notes by paying or delivering, as applicable, cash shares of its Class A common stock or a combination of cash and shares of its common stock at Lucid's election. The notes will be redeemable in whole or in part for cash at Lucid's option at any time and from time to time on or after December 20th, 2024, et cetera, et cetera. So you can read this to get out the details, but basically they're trying to raise $1.7 billion in cash through a loan offering, but that loan offering could be basically converted to shares if the private investor wanted to convert them to shares. That's just something to take into account. And again, as part of the reason why Lucid went down. And if you don't know what Lucid is, I highly recommend checking out this presentation. This was their Q3 results. Lucid's mission is to inspire the adoption of sustainable energy by creating advanced technologies and the most captivating luxury EVs center out the human experience. If you don't know, they're already working on an SUV. Cash on hand of 4.8 billion. So they have a huge amount of cash. I just think they want to raise more cash just to be able to drive innovation and drive their technology enhancements and to basically generate up to speed, generate more vehicles up to speed. And of course, you need a lot of cash for that. So they have more than 13,000 reservations, greater than 17,000 as of November 15th. And they started deliveries on October 30th. So that's great that they're actually starting deliveries. And from what I've heard, the customer experience in a Lucid is just absolutely amazing. So super, super cool. And of course, they have a longer range than Tesla. And you can look at their financial statements here, but just like I'm liking, like, look at it. It's just, this car is so sexy. It's just, you know what I mean? Like, oh my goodness, right? Like I want one. If I make enough money off of YouTube, yeah, get me a Lucid, you know? Anyways, that's all I have for you today. If you enjoyed this video, again, please be sure to give it a like, subscribe to the channel, reach out to me in the comments or through my email. And love you all. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.